why do I have to start? I don't want to start.
Because you're the slickest one, dude. You're like
because you're the outsider.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. You're all not me.
You're like Paul McCartney, man. You're the cute one.
Stop.
Come on, dude.
Yeah. Okay. So So I'm Bart. I work for a character. I'm a lead concept artist, and yeah.
Nice.
And
you're climbing that ladder.
Yeah, I'm climbing that ladder slowly.
And what you're into, because I kept like bragging about your workflow, Bart, to all of my friends or everyone I stumble upon. Like you're the master of sculpting in VR, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do a lot of shit in Gravity.
Yeah,
but it's
I
just
would love to.
Yeah.
I would love to see like your process, and we talked about you maybe possibly coming up with like some tutorial in the future.
Yeah, I wanted to, but then I realized that my process kind of involves a lot of software. It involves ZBrush, Substance, Gravity, and it wouldn't be for a lot of people, I think, because yours is very universal. All you do is like you select your scene in Blender, and that's very cool. But meanwhile, I'm just tinkering with a lot of different stuff, and I think it will be very limiting for people, But I might try,
Yeah, I think you should. You could narrow it down to like focusing in Gravity, and then maybe like just a touch of refinement in ZBrush, right? Just to get the forms and the shapes. Because also like you're the master of big, medium, small, right? Of shape design. That's what you focus on. When you sculpt actually in virtual reality, it feels so natural, right? To work in this kind of environment. I mean, you can just focus on the shapes. So I'm pretty sure like a lot of people would love to see your workflow. And that's true that where you're using VR, right? So that's like you're limiting the amount of audience. Yeah, like you can possibly, I don't know, say target.
Yeah.
But also the thing is like last year I've released a pack of scans, and I've called it instead of like industrial kit bus set, I've called it like shipyard pack, right? So by doing that, not a lot of artists will need a shipyard part for their images, right? So it also like targeted, I don't know, it's a really specific pack, but it still was like received, I would say, pretty great. So what I'm saying is I would love for you to like try, right, and release it and see how it works. And then I guess you could just try maybe come up with like a bunch of different videos. And I mean, especially in those times, and I think we'll get to this later as well. But it's super important to be more useful as an artist during those times. So I think to some extent it should extend. It shouldn't involve us as an artist, like, hey, how many tools we are using to have more value to the clients, but also like going outside of our work, right? Like doing tutorials or trying YouTube or anything, like just trying anything really that will make us more useful within like the next year or two, because we are not dropping to talk about AI yet, and there will be some questions, right? But if someone thinks like we are fucked already with the AI, I think just you wait another year or two. Like this is nothing yet, I feel like, right? So yeah, I'm already like making this conversation all about I'm doing the talking. So Marius, it's time for you to introduce yourself.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? So I'm Marius. I work with these two, and before I worked with him as well. Yeah, and I'm art director as well as they are. So Piotr is my art director, and Leo is my art director, and I am Leo's art director, and I am sometimes Piotr's art director.
Yeah. We're like we're like a human centipede of art directors.
All inter art directors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's about me. Like I'm traveling a lot now, so I like left my post-Soviet Lithuania for the summer in Sicily. So I'm enjoying that, but also trying to work, grinding even here.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I can tell that you're in Sicily. Like that TV is obviously a Sicilian TV.
I mean, yeah, I wanted to like you're spending the hard-earned money on like huge flat screen TVs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you guys watch The Office. Like where Michael Scott bought a wall-mounted TV.
I don't watch that one.
I haven't. Didn't get to it yet.
Yeah, and right now you're like changing your name from Marius. You've changed it to Mario, right?
Yeah, it's me, Mario. So yeah, actually, that's not even a joke anymore. Because like people are asking what's your name, and I'm like Marius, and they're like, huh? Like Marius, and they're like, huh? Mario. Oh, Mario. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno, Mario.
So now I'm just going with it. I'm like, yeah.
Have you learned any new words?
Sorry?
Have you learned any new words?
No, not really. Like I can say hi and I can say bye, and I'm like, that's about it. But it's been like a week here, so.
How long you
say this? You had the same thing.
Sorry? And you're recording, right? Because I will have to turn the recording off.
Yeah, I'm recording. I'm recording. Yeah.
Right. Are you sure the sound is catching?
Yeah, the sound is catching. Yeah.
Okay.
It says here that desktop audio is working. So.
Okay. So,
nice.
Leo, what about you?
Wait. Well, I'm just working, so at my home, and that's it. Nothing else. You know, with nice. Joe over here. Yeah. Yeah, I've been doing stands too, like Piotr, but I want to do mine like a different theme in an asset pack, and you know, my turntable is obviously bigger than his, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we can.
No,
I
said to you that you just have like a small coffee mug, or placed on the turntable, so it appeared bigger because you have really small hands and really small lips, so you need like those small cups to drink from.
Yeah, that's not true.
That's such a weird thing to say, though.
Yeah, dude.
You have very small lips.
Yeah, it's just working on side hustles, Patreon, and all that stuff. So yeah, you want to jump into it? I cannot wait, man. By the way, might as well ask the most asked questions. Like, what is your computer, dude? Like, all of you, what do you use?
I have a 3090.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not even a 40 guy.
Yeah.
Same.
I'm
still on.
Damn. Last I heard, Leonardo da Vinci died a long time ago, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah, no, for now, the setup works for me.
Yeah,
but
I mean, that
I'm going to upgrade to 40.
Yeah, my 3090...
Like, do you really feel the difference? Do you really feel the difference between 3090 and 4090, like, honestly?
A little bit.
Like,
a little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah, a little bit. But I got a 4090 just because my 3090 was broken, but turns out you can fix it for $100, so I gave it to my brother, and he fixed it, so that it's his now. It's no longer mine. So... I basically got a new GPU to replace the old one. But yeah, 4090.
And the gap was like super noticeable when you were jumping from like 2080 to 3090, right?
That's crazy.
Was like
yeah. I think I went from 950.
From 950?
950 to 3090? No, to
1080?
No, 950. GTX 950 to 2060 and then to 3090.
Damn, it had to be a big jump, man.
Yeah, that's a big jump. Yeah,
3090.
Yeah, ripped all my pens, dude. Hell of a big jump.
Yeah. Hell of a jump.
Yeah.
And did you had like, did it feel like an investment back then?
I mean, it feels like I'm being unresponsible with the money back then because that's a lot of money, dude. But yeah, it turns out it's a good investment.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like for me, I jumped like from 2070 to 3090, and it cost a ton because it was during the COVID, and I didn't really have the money to buy it. I mean, I had, but it was like dried my account basically. So
same.
It felt like, am I doing a mistake? Like, will I end up homeless with an RTX? But then it turned out like it was a necessary decision to make.
Yeah.
I guess like we can start like transition to some of the questions because a bunch of them will be.
But you have a laptop that's fucking insane, right?
Oh yeah, I have a 4090 laptop. So it's a great laptop, but then again, it's super expensive. Like with 3080 laptops, they were way cheaper. Like the previous generation of laptops was way cheaper, and the new one is. I mean, the only reason why I bought it is. because I do workshops from time to time, and I want to use my own PC because I've learned by now that you want to work on your own computer if you're doing a demo. Because I've done workshops that went like horribly wrong because the PC that was provided was just crashing, or it didn't have like any add-ons. And there's nothing worse when you do a demo when your scene is crashing. And I'm pretty sure that's also the reason why they're not inviting me to Polish events, because one went so fucking bad. Yeah. But yeah, like 40, I had like 4080 laptop, and then now it's like 4090, and I would say like 4090 laptop is an equivalent of or close to like 3080 desktop. So I'm able to like work on it just fine. Like all of my scenes are working super fast on it as well. Of course, like the scenes need to be optimized, right?
Yeah.
Do you use it like daily or the laptop?
Sorry?
Do you use it daily? Because from what I heard is that those
Only to
laptops
watch
they
porn.
overheat. Okay.
No, I mean I don't want to like watch anything inappropriate on my desk station, right? You know, with your camera on. No, I'm just joking. But I use it to process the scans all the time. So because it takes like up to a couple of hours to process the scans.
Yeah.
So and
Leaves your
so
PC
it's pretty
idle.
fast. But yeah, but also like the laptop is right the back of it, like where with previous generation, the back of it had like a bunch of, I don't know, just ports, and right now it's like this giant exhaust. And for example, if you want to, I don't know, play like a game or something, it's so loud that it's so distracting that's it's not for, it doesn't make for like a great gaming machine. I mean, it does, like everything will work like flawlessly on it, but it's way too long. But for work, it's perfect.
Yeah.
But if anyone wants to buy like 4090 laptop, I would wait. I would wait till like, I don't know, when the 5000 series will be released, like in October, September, right?
I mean, I would even say that if you want to buy a laptop to work or a PC, that you don't have to buy the latest one. Just buy the one that you can afford with the most VRAM, right?
Oh yeah. VRAM is like the main thing you should be looking for, right?
Yeah.
We were testing. I remember back in when we were doing workshops in Prague. I had like a 3080 laptop with 16 gigs of VRAM, and then one of our friends had like two 2080s pulled together, and they had like 8 gigs VRAM each. But in Blender, like the VRAM doesn't pull together. It doesn't add up, right? So the performance, like my laptop was like running so much faster than two 2080s, right?
It will take
and then
the
there's like
lowest one, yeah. If you combine the two.
And then there's like a bunch of questions like people are writing, for example, when it comes to tutorial, like, hey, I have like a 9060 or like 2070, can I still use your tutorial, for example, right? And yeah, you should definitely can. Like the whole workflow is oriented towards like keeping the scene optimized, right? So that's the best approach. But also the thing is like 3000 series are so cheap right now. I know like everything feels like an investment, but I think you can buy like 3060 for like $300.
Yeah,
use
dude,
one
for sure.
So so like go out and get it. Because you really need to, like we talked about Clio some time ago, right? How not getting stuck or how slow scene can impact your decision making, your like workflow, right? So you really want to like avoid getting caught up or being slowed down. Because I remember like we were working on this like huge horizon image. It was like a cover. It was 24K in resolution.
Oh yeah, that one.
And we were receiving feedback, and I was only able to change the poses slightly, like change the plans. Or I was able to only address a feedback during the 8 hours. I only was able to move like 3 things because the scene was like running so slow. So yeah, it was like a super stressful period, right? And then 3090 came in, and suddenly it's like the work. It became so much more pleasant, right? And Marius, what are you running?
I'm using 3090 as well, but desktop. And actually, I'm looking into buying a laptop, so it's interesting. So, if you would be getting a laptop now, would you say like it's better to get 3090 laptop instead of buying 4090 laptop?
I mean, 3080s, they still come, like some of them come with 60 gigs of RAM. I mean, if it's possible, if someone has cash to spend, I would still buy 4090.
4090.
But I'm because like it costs like around $5,000. So it's a huge investment, and for me, I really need to justify it. As in, all right, I'll be going attending workshops. I really need this type of for machine, and you can work. I mean, I can work on it like if I want to, so that's great. That allows me to do some traveling as well, right? But 5,000 bucks is like it's a huge sum to try and justify, right? So
yeah,
and the like 3080 laptops or 3090 laptops, they cost like
3K, no?
2000
I think.
2K,
Oh,
around
yeah?
2K, right? Or maybe
Okay.
less. I mean, the best possible scenario is like just to pack your SIM to like Google Drive and Dropbox, and then go to a retailer and be like, "Hey, can I test my Blender scenes?"
You're like, what is Blender?
Well, Marius, did you travel with your PC?
I'll be right back.
Yeah,
because
I'm
I have
going by car. I'm going by car, so I can bring all my shit. Because it was like limiting factor for a long while, because I always wanted to go somewhere, you know, but it's like, I don't know, buying a laptop that's still gonna be worse than your desktop. I was like, do I really want to spend $5,000? And I was like, fuck it, I'll just go the car, you know, and I'll bring my shit.
Dude, how big is your PC?
Sorry, Bart?
How big is it?
How big is your PC?
It's like normal PC. It's like box. I don't know, tower.
Yeah,
I don't know like the exact measurements.
Yeah,
sorry.
I can lift it up.
Man, you know, I packed all of my. I built a tower, but it's so tiny that I use it as it has a handle and everything, and I just take it with me wherever I go.
Oh, you have like a mini form factor?
Yeah, it's like it's not a mini, but it's a hand luggage size. You know?
Okay, that's great.
Cool.
Yeah,
it's like really custom, built, right? By a professional.
Sorry.
Like really custom built by a professional.
Yeah.
Right?
The case was like somewhere from Slovakia, from like a custom brand.
Oh, is that the one that Jama bought?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But it was very, very custom built, and that's why I couldn't put 4090 in it at first, because it wouldn't fit. It was too big.
Yeah.
But now they made a smaller one, so I might actually buy it. You know.
Do you have any hentai stickers on it?
Any what?
Hentai stickers?
What?
Of course. Always.
Man of
on
culture.
Everything.
Man of culture. We've talked enough about our specs. So should we jump into questions or portfolios?
Yeah. So
questions
perhaps. Yeah, just pick random ones.
You know what? Let's go through your questions first. The one you've received.
Yeah. So considering Raymond Bonilla, I'm not sure if it's that correct pronunciation. Considering how quickly technology working methods change, what is the ideal portfolio for someone who want to get involved in one pixel brush, or maybe wants a job working as an environment concept artist nowadays? What do you think?
Who's starting? Bart.
You.
Because you're not working at OPB, so start.
Yeah.
If I want to get involved with OPB.
I mean, I guess the best portfolio will be the one that showcases different types of, I don't want to say like abilities, but for example, when it comes to environments, I'm an environment type of guy, right? So for my taste, I would say you want to have one environment piece, maybe like an interior shot, right? Danar Voria has the best tutorial when it comes to interiors.
Yeah. Shout out to Danar.
Yeah, and it costs like, it's super cheap, right?
30,
it's
I think.
just like so much. Yeah, it's so much value in there. Now the other piece I would say is do a piece with that shows scale. Like do a piece that shows like huge scale environment, for example, or there's like some make design involved, but those don't need to be like design oriented. It's just about like pushing the scale in your image like a giant hanger. And then for the last one, what I would do is like come up with a piece that shows a naturalistic light, where the composition is open when you try to show implement a bunch of like compositional rules, right? And it's not like loopy. There's really no place for like broad strokes, right? And the light, it needs to act correct. So for example, it's a sunny day, so the sun should be slightly warm and the shadows are saturated. And then I would say like you only need to have like 3 juicy pieces in your portfolio for you to be high, right? Now, when it comes to like 24, for example, like most of us, if not all, we are like trying already working in Unreal, right? I mean, some of the projects we've been working with Unreal like 2 years ago, And I think it will be just another tool that we have to learn. So also circling back to, we need to keep increasing our value in the eyes of our clients, right?
Yeah.
So just like learning new tools is just a must.
Mm.
And right now, if someone will start like learning Unreal, I would say that's the perfect time to start, because sooner or later, like I feel like our industry will shift. And Blender will still be a thing. It will be just, there will be another tool. Like there's ZBrush for certain things, there will be Blender for certain things, and then there will be Unreal for certain things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's better to have a head start now than, I don't know. I mean, if someone will start like learning it like next year, he will be fine too, I think. So yeah, I hope that answers the questions, right?
Yeah, I think, yeah. What about the other fellas, Marius, Bart?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, you want to show fundamentals as well, right? The composition has to be like on point, and all of the other things, like characters as well. Like Piotr didn't mention characters, but characters is also important because like you don't always get to do, especially in OPB, you get like different projects. Like it's not always you're gonna get environment that you're like, your horse all the time. So you might get something else as well. So I think also like having bigger variety of skills is also really important. So you can like do more stuff. That's also we're going to be more valuable to the client if you can do more things. So of course I also think that it's good to focus on one thing, but I think like at these times the more stuff you can do, the bigger your profile is, the more you have a chance of getting a job, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like running. It's just like you're running your business, no matter what type of business is. Like I know you're running a shoe shop. The different, like you just need to increase your offer. You need to cater towards like different type of clients, right? So you want to have like different type of shoes, or like any other business. Like the more type of products we are able to provide to someone, the more successful our business will be. So that's like, because I think at some point we will be talking about like, hey, should I learn 3D when I'm like only like drawing stuff, right? And I would say yes, and not because like staying in 2D or like drawing stuff sucks. It's just because you really want to offer more variety of products, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And I think
for
we should
me,
No,
sorry. As I was just going to say that for me personally, I agree with what you said, Piotr, and I think it's important to get those scenes in. I saw a lot of very good portfolios that didn't actually bring anything, that they were like kit bash sort of based, didn't have a design statement in them at all.
Yeah.
And I think that's also a really red flag, because you can make the most beautiful scene, but if you have no storytelling, no design statement that you made, or none of your idea in there, then it's not going to be a strong piece, because you can take like big, medium, small pieces like Jamma's Bazaar, for instance, which is awesome. You can build an amazing scene from it, but like it's not going to be fully yours,
Yeah, I
You're
think
what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think pitfall is like people use that kind of as what it is, right? And more often than not really working with it. You know what I mean? Like just putting it there and not making it into something like what you said, like with design statement or a story or anything. And a lot of people just want to make pretty images, right? And that's cool and all, but now the thing is, nowadays I think everybody and their grandma can make a pretty image, like, but what can you do more? Like, what can you offer?
Yeah, it's about
Is it the story? Is it the designs or whatever? But I think something plus, like, but
because it shows your adaptability, right?
Yeah.
Like you can make what you want, and that's what you're going to be making at OPB. They're going to be throwing at you many different genres and many different things to do.
Yeah.
So you gotta be able to adapt quickly and not just build something out of ready pieces,
Yeah, that's also why it's kind of so hard to judge portfolio nowadays too, because you can kind of see kind of smoke screen and mirrors with, oh, this guy's really good, blah blah blah. And then we and it has that it's not in the comfort zone because the fundamentals ain't there yet. Because the fundamentals ain't there yet, then it's not going to be done in the level that's needed. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Talk about it.
Right, I think we should move on.
Yeah.
Tell me I was
because
pretty.
we have like so many different questions. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, pull it up, Jamie.
Right. Next question. Okay. Yeah, I'll just go random and back and forth. But so should we go to the second one? Someone who really enjoys your maybe go to the next tab first. Let me see. So that okay. So Andy Walsh asked, "Is fully 3D art, in particular environment design, the last line of defense in the war against AI?" Do you want to talk about this AI thing?
This is a kind of worms question, you know.
Yeah, like we're gonna open Pandora's box.
So, oh my God, got disabled. So, I mean, let's not dive too deep into it because the way I look at it is
too late. I'm already underwater, dude. Too late. Yeah.
If anyone knows like the answers to the future, he's lying. Like we don't have crystal ball to see where everything is going. The way I really try to see. I mean, I was in the mindset of what matters is a pretty image to the viewer. And that's how I was designing. I was coming up with like my images. That was my mindset. Like about a bunch of times, I was just like hacking it using scans to get the effect I wanted to achieve. Right? I didn't want to cut this tree or like spend like I don't know 10 hours on something that will be barely visible in an image. So now with AI, for me, it feels like the rule didn't change. Like people will prefer a good-looking image over over not a like decent one. And the thing is like a lot of people, like when it comes to covers industry, book covers, right?
Yeah.
It's already kind of dead, I would say.
Yeah. Dude, even YouTube thumbnails used to be like an industry, right? But nowadays I see YouTube thumbnails is everything is AI.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Like the other thing is like even if, and I don't want to dive too deep into it, right? But I kind of am. So
you're doing it
even
now.
If they will train, even if people will start training bots in a way where they're not using any copyrighted art, like just our own base of images, right? We still fucked. It's like we are all scared. Because there will be a huge shift, and if we think like that right now, all right, like the AI took over. Like it will, like within a year or two, like we will be like talking entirely different. I mean, we will be so surprised by each of us by the changes that will come, right? So I'm just like really trying to narrow it down to like we need to provide more value to the clients. We need to do something that AI isn't doing yet, right? And along the way, I'm pretty sure. And it's like Shadi said, when it comes to movie industry, it's getting only bigger and bigger, right?
Yeah.
And there's the movie industry still needs new people. Like there's still like way too much work for some of the artists and the studios, right? So even if the technology is like really improving and pushing forward, we still need more hands on deck on some of the like projects, right?
So you're saying that basically, it's going to continue this trend, right? Hopefully, like, this improvement in technology maybe like will increase the industry as well. Is that what you mean?
I hope so. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Like it's hard to predict right now, but I'm pretty sure there will be new type of jobs or new type of workflows.
Yeah.
Like it's really hard to foresee right now what's going on, but it will also open new doors for sure. And yeah, maybe we won't be like spending so much time in Blender as well. Maybe we'll have to learn different tools. Maybe hopefully we'll be only using we'll be able to make the image like 90% ours, right? And then like script it up with like some AI stuff like the last 10%. But it should still hopefully will feel like our own job, our own work, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the thing is we don't know. So
yeah, we don't know. But I mean, if we don't know, that's again like it's sort of like what we do know is when you're like if you're one person type of like company, right? You need to be able to provide more value to the clients, and that's basically it. Like if you don't know what to do, you should always stick by this rule because that's how business works, right?
What about you? You don't wanna answer? You wanna use your rights to the Fifth Amendment?
Who, me?
Yeah. Do you want to answer this one?
No, I don't know. For me, AI is an open topic,
Yeah.
But somehow, for me, it sort of feels like AI is becoming a genre in itself a little bit,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So I would love a tool that would solve like all the little intricacies and just to spruce up the image in the
Yeah.
end. That would be amazing.
I mean, for now, if you're not making a living like drawing really pretty girls, I think you're kind of fine right now
Yeah,
because
and
AI
concept art is
really good at
specific.
that. Yeah. But I don't know. Like we
I don't know. Very
nobody
often
knows.
I'm finding pitois too big in AI generated images. I'm like being offended by it.
Yeah,
Okay, so
Right,
let's
let's go to the next one.
pick another one. So, Corza asked tips on pushing through a whole project without losing motivation, dealing with self criticism and project doubt, tips for workflow and efficiency, and getting things to a mostly completed looking state that is presentable.
If I was to answer that, I would just say that what I do is I work on a project, and then when I think I finished it, I just leave it and I come back to it another week if it's a personal project,
Okay.
and look at it and I see like, oh my god, this is crap, and then I fix it,
And
and I do that
depression
on
is
and
your
off
friend.
until, hey,
And depression is your friend.
yeah. You need to look at it with fresh eyes. So I never try to do
Mm.
like I know people that work for 3 hours and then they're like, oh god, this is my image, and then they post it somewhere. For me, it's never the case.
Mm.
I get
I
tired
think
very
that's smart.
quickly with what I see.
And what do you think, Marius?
Yeah, I also think it's smart to get back to it like in some time, like because you get tired. Like I am like Bart. I think I get tired of things, and I stop seeing things clearly. You know, when you spend like I don't know 10 hours straight on an image, like you are like basically blind. At least I am sometimes. So next day when you open it, sometimes it's like holy shit, what was I thinking even yesterday? You know, so. Yeah, like doing breaks and if it's like if you feel like it's really important piece, also doing a break before posting and like taking your time to actually see clearly what you did, and also like asking like your friends what they think, I think helps as well. So you can always send it to someone who's better than you or like someone you look up to.
Yeah.
For some feedback, because yeah, that's how you get better. I think.
Piotr, how do you do it? Do it with coffee and cigarettes?
Yeah.
Coffee, cigarettes, and like depression or whatnot. No, I'm joking about the depression, of course. It's just that when we are trying always something new, we are going out of our comfort zone. So there will always be feelings in us that we are not cheerful. That what I'm trying to say. It's like we're being conflicted, right? So. When it comes to like finding motivations, it's just like, well, we have to push through. And I don't go. I really hate the dialogue where I know someone like you watch like some YouTuber or like some talk at a workshop, and someone will keep talking on a from a scene for like a half an hour. Like you need to excel, you need to keep pushing, you need to keep doing that. Like you need to be greater, and you need to like it's. I mean, to be great at anything. That's so fucking obvious, right? You need to kind of be pushing, but you also need to be able to let go. So what you guys said, like, is there's time to push, and then there's time to just like let it go. And I think like our brain works in a way like when there's this incubation period where we have a bunch of ideas and we just want to push through from the beginning. In fact, we just need our brain needs some time to adjust to like the new ideas. So sometimes it's like best to start working on something and then just try to do something more healthy, maybe like go outside and whatnot. And the other thing is like pushing through our whole project without losing motivation. So for me, it was trying to find a way to wrap an image faster. So learn methods like we always want to. I mean, you are artists. That we are kind of vain. I don't know the word. It's like
vain.
Vain. We want it to be appreciated, but what we do because we spend so much time doing a piece, right? That we want for someone to appreciate our hard work.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like for me, I think I spent like half a year. I mean, I haven't like published any portfolio piece for like about 2 years, for example. And then I spent like half a year just trying to improve my workflow and just time myself. And I want to build a scene. My goal is I want to build a scene within one evening, right? And then I've done this. I was just like deleting the scene and then just trying over and over, like the next day and the day after that. But my point is, I wasn't trying to finish a piece. I was like trying to do something for me just for the sake of improving the workflow. Because the truth is, if the image takes you too long to do, like, yeah, it doesn't feel really good. I mean, you will feel just stuck. But if you're able to like pull off something within like one evening, like most of the images I have in my portfolio, those are like 1 or 2 days of work. And I used to like spend like a couple of weeks working on an image, like really pushing it, and then the image turned out like super fucking ugly, right? So it's also like super important to try to develop an efficient workflow. And to be able to do so, or something that might help you to do so, is to get my tutorial. Efficient environment design.
Oh shit, that's smooth, dude. Fucking Mr. Salesman over here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sharing a lot of the, like, there were so many images that, or I've had a bunch of clients that I was like either like let go or I wasn't like nailing it. Or when it comes to OPB, like Shadi was taking me off some of the images like a couple of years back, right? And it never felt great in passing them over to someone else. So all of the stuff that I'm sharing in the tutorials are basically something that I've learned throughout the period of like last couple of years, right? All right, let's jump to the next one. And I think,
by the way, you have a discount code for your tutorial, 99% off, right? No, we're kidding. Okay, I hope. Oh, I think there's a second part. Like, what about workflow efficiency? You kind of talk about it, Piotr, but I think we haven't heard from you too. Like efficiency, what about that?
I mean, you want to divide your work into like different stages, I would say, not to get overwhelmed. So, for example, you want to start with a block, right? Then you want to move to maybe creating assets or have like a bunch of assets already. And then you want to play with the composition, and then you want to set up the lighting, and then you want to, I know, just build the scene with the assets you have. What you want to avoid is, for example, ending up with a scene where half of the scene is like white blockouts, and then half of the scene is texture stuff, and the lighting isn't there yet, and the scene just looks like a mess. And like, if you don't work like orderly, as in if you don't like have like this step-by-step approach of what you want to achieve in this given step, so you don't want to model stuff at the same time, texture stuff at the same time, figure out the lighting at the same time, figure out the composition at the same time. A bunch of things you want to do, you want to figure out before you're jumping into the blender. So you want to know what compositional rules I will want to aim. You want to know already where your horizon line might be, right? For example. So you want to make, you want to take steps, and you want to stick by the steps, and you don't want to jump the gun, because it's so super easy, like, at least for me, to get overwhelmed when I want to focus on too many things. Like, you can do basically anything in 3D, but the most time I was wasting was when I was ending up with images where like there were a bunch of pieces, the lighting wasn't there, and this and that wasn't there, right? So
yeah,
I don't know if it answers the question, but
yeah, I think that kind of answers it. What about you guys too?
For me, the most important thing is like the tertiary elements in your image. Like, you don't care about them, you know. They don't need to be individually textured. They don't need to be super specific or anything. If you do any sort of greeble and stuff like that, that is just supporting the composition.
Yeah.
Like, I would only put my mind to what is the main focal point of the image, and all the rest.
Exactly.
And I think you can even see it in my portfolio. Like, when you really look at the sides of the image, they're actually really bad. But it comes from actual painting. It comes from painting where you only care like the detail around it doesn't matter, you know.
Yeah.
So that really adds to speed.
It's almost like as you go to the side from the focal point, your brush got bigger, right? And as you go closer, it gets smaller.
Yeah. It stops mattering, you know. And people don't notice that stuff anyway, because if your image doesn't, you know, grab your attention at the focal point, then you did a bad image then.
Yeah,
I totally agree. Like, focusing on the right thing at the right time, you know, and like making the list always helps me as well. So, like, you know, exactly knowing what I'm doing now and like solving it and like crossing out the thing and then going to the other thing. Because if you're like just randomly pushing things and like, oh, maybe this, oh no, not this, and oh, maybe this, and then it's like 2 hours passed and you have nothing. And what Bart said about the focal point, for sure. So yeah, focusing on that first. And not like I used to, like, for example, I was good at the environment stuff, but maybe not as good at designing something. So I used to jump and do like the stuff I'm good at, and only then jumping doing the thing that I should fucking done from the right at the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel a lot of people do that as well. So focusing, like figuring things out, like the most important things, figuring them out first, and then going on to all the things that you already know.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I think, could be a good advice.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that, like, the importance of scribbling over your image, right?
Yeah.
You just grab a screen grab of your viewport, and then just try to scribble. All right, the character isn't my focal point, and then maybe I will then focus on those elements, or I will group those shapes better. Like, you're just basically scribbling over the next decisions you will make within the next 2 or 3 hours. Like, you don't want to wander aimlessly in your image. You need to make decisions. You want to think ahead, and you want to just when you're back into 3D, you just want to execute what you've already planned in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, we're not going to answer everything, right? We're basically going to do this in parts. So if we're answering everything,
so.
if we're answering everything, this will go 5 hours, easy. So
and I think maybe what we could do actually is one person should answer one question. So let's just take turns.
One more.
Yeah. Let's do one more.
Yeah. You pick. Come on. Wow.
Why is Leo gay?
What?
How to improve composition and lighting skills?
Yeah. How? What do you do?
Which one?
Leo, it's your time.
Yeah. How to improve composition lighting skill? I don't know, man. Like, for me, it was just copying a lot of stuff, right? If you really like something, and I'm speaking about kind of more stage lighting. Like, if you want to improve in natural lighting, obviously, you kind of really have to observe. For example, like for the longest time, like I think Piotr, you sent me that. You have an observation that when it's sunsets, it's usually not all yellow. Like usually it's close to the sun, it's yellow, and then farther it is gonna be blue and then gray, right? Whatever, kind of that. So that's that kind of observation. I think improving on lighting, like the quality wise, but compositionally, lighting improving in composition, dude. It's just about, I think, observing a lot, consuming a lot, and then analyzing a lot. For example, like, and I think what really changed my mindset about compositions too was Rob Ruppel's book, Graphic LA. Because in that book, he explained that when you're doing a composition, you're not making, for example, you're making an image of a warehouse, right? You're not making a warehouse. You're trying to extract this warehouse into a great shape of just black and white value and make that good, right? And then you just design around that. So like just seeing the whole image as one shape rather than just a collection of things. I don't know if that makes sense. And opening shot deck, looking at good stuff and just analyzing, I think, is also really helps. Oh, and
references.
Yeah, and studying beyond concept art, I would say, like, if you want to get better at lighting, I would really suggest to check out some filmmaking channels on YouTube, like how some film workers would light a scene. I think that's also really valuable to learn.
Yeah, and also I mentioned that doing studies is as important.
Yeah.
As well. Like we want to always like jump the gun. I mean, we can do everything in 3D, everything we want, and we often, I would say, in most portfolios, like you will see the gritty scenes with like super wide shots and like some Chinese subtitles to make the shot more interesting. But more often than not, the composition like isn't there, right? And it's all about specularity and dribble. And I'm like, I'm saying about my opinions, but that was the same thing with me. It was all about the dribble spec, and then you kind of have to understand that in order to go forward, you need to take a couple step backs, right? You need to go back,
kind of zoom out almost.
It's against our nature to try. We always want to push forward, right?
Yeah.
To take the step back, it always feels like we always want to also like show images, and we want to build our portfolio, and we want either like to get a job. We want to be maybe appreciated, or we want to, I don't know, just share something with the normies. but and then thinking about, all right, I need to do a bunch of studies, so it's something that I it feels like I'm not going gain anything from it, right? But
Yeah.
the truth is, like, you will. And like one of the books that actually helped me a lot is the simple secret to a better painting. So it's a book by Greg Albert, I think.
Oh, nice.
What is the simple secret?
What's the simple
sorry?
secret? Tell us now. Like we don't have to read the
Yeah.
book.
So it's basically never halves.
Never what?
Never halves.
Okay, yes, that's true.
Yeah. So it's yeah, how to immediately improve your work with the golden rule of design.
Mhm.
Never halves. And this book, it's like it's like a 3-hour read, and it's just like changed my approach to composition building or to when it comes to designing stuff.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's move to the next question, right?
Yeah, I haven't read that one. Yeah, next. Let's see.
Wait, pause on this one. We best laptops to forecast the environments. We talked about it. The next goal in terms of art career for you guys. So for me, it will be just like, try to do find a ways to provide more value to whoever we are working with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
What about you?
I'm not
How
sure.
do you optimize your scenes for Blender? Well,
Yeah.
you need to buy the tutorial.
Yeah.
Shameless.
Yeah, I will upload it somewhere, so you can contact me. Okay, what about you two? What's the next goal?
Look down in the comments.
Yeah. What's the next goal? Bart, Marius, what the fuck? Answer it.
I don't know, man. For me, like I'm
man.
having a lot of fun as an instructor,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm also really having a lot of fun as a lead as well. So I'm kind of at a crossroads, and I'm not quite sure where I'm gonna go now. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think it's more people work and less artwork a little
Mhm.
bit. You know,
Yeah, more people
it's
work.
becoming like that. You know,
Yeah, me too.
it's just it's another challenge. You know, when you do images every day, you sort of everything becomes your comfort zone,
Mm-hmm.
and you're sort of looking. You're naturally trying to look for something different. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you open
For me,
Marius? Oh, okay.
yeah, I don't know. I was thinking, I just want to do more personal work because I was like working all the time, and I like feel like I don't have enough time for myself,
Yeah.
and that's kind of killing a little bit, because, well, we started this because we like it, and it shouldn't be all about work, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to find some more time for my own work. So I'm trying to kind of balance it out a little bit. So yeah, that's going pretty well. And also about providing value, I feel that's too, because like I was getting some emails lately about some mentorship programs or whatever. So I'm kind of thinking about that as well, because yeah, why not? I think I like I like giving feedbacks. I like mentoring as well.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see.
Hell yeah. Right.
Next.
Wait.
What else do we have?
Yeah, for me, my next goal is I want to open a hardware store. Like, no kidding. I want to open a hardware store. And just because I want it. And I want to kind of build a business on this field too, whatever that is. Going to be either, I don't know, teaching or selling shit. Anyhow, the next thing. Huh?
What kind of hardware store?
Like a hardware store. Do you sell wrenches and shit? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
No, you're kidding.
I'm not kidding. Like, there's like this house I bought is quite spacious, right? And there's an extra space below, and I'm gonna build a rolling door and everything just to sell things there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
What about your bodybuilding career?
What?
Bodybuilding career.
Is that on the table as well?
Yeah. I mean, I have my instructor back here, so yeah, that's on the table. If everything fails, I'll just open a TikTok account and just post biceps every day.
All right, guys, let's move on.
Yeah. All right. So wait, do we have time for portfolio review? This is an hour in, dude. Do you want a portfolio review?
Yeah. So I think we're just gonna like divide the videos for the portfolio review, because also there's like a bunch of questions that comes with portfolios as well.
Okay.
I also wanted to answer this one quickly. Can you open the first tab?
Yeah.
Has a fully 3D real-time concept pipeline replace photo bashing, drawing, painting, sketching?
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I would say yes and no. I mean, I know a lot of artists who are, for example, still sticking to photo brushing or drawing, and they're like excelling at it. But again, it ties back to you really want to be able, for example, to photo brush a bit, you want to draw a bit, you want to be able to paint a bit, and then you want to do a 3D a bit. I mean, again, it's just providing more value, right?
Yeah.
What's your render setup? How to optimize these big scenes so Blender doesn't get laggy and crash? Texture size versus poly size. Can one take advantage of dual GPU setups in Blender? The size versus the tile size versus light paths. I answered all of those questions in my tutorial, Efficient Environment Design.
Okay, shit. Right. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't know if 3D has replaced it, because sometimes photo bashing, drawing, painting can be faster. Like, can be much faster.
Of course.
Right. So
yeah, we still photo bash.
I would say it has its uses. I think one thing would never kind of just replace another. Right. Like, I think that they'll be kind of throwing money on the floor almost if you're not doing one thing, because this thing is kind of more apparent right now, because yeah, even in a lot. I mean, Bart, you still I bet you still draw a lot and kind of design work, right? So
yeah, but it's all in gravity, So
Yeah.
for me, it's 3D. But I don't think it will ever replace
yeah,
photo brushing, drawing, and painting.
yeah,
And there's always huge difference when you work with artists who can actually draw, right? You always
yeah.
feel that there's just different mentality or something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I mean, there are some guys that do like brilliantly in 3D only, but there's always this. I don't know. It just feels like
that's almost
different mentality.
That's almost the common denominator, right, of a really good kind of artist, right? Like, at least can draw a bit. I don't know.
Yep.
So are we gonna do portfolios even today, or no?
Yes. Let's go to portfolios. So I think we're gonna review, like, we got so many. Like, I've narrowed it down to like.
Yeah, you want to share a screen?
But so I'm just gonna. And the way we're gonna approach it, like, each of us gonna take a step.
Yeah. By the way, before I close this one, like, we're gonna get into some of the questions in the next session. So don't be sad. Okay.
So one person is gonna stream it, and then we take turns, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Piotr's gonna stream it. Piotr, close the tabs first. Get out of incognito.
Mentioned, like, we should all close, like, all the stuff that might.
I think I gotta go a bit, so you continue.
Can you see the screen, guys?
Wait, I'm watching your stream. Okay, and it's streaming now.
Yep.
All right, so let's start with. Is it Jose?
Maybe.
Miguel.
So let's start with this portfolio, and I would say, like, this portfolio is looking great, and I would say, like, you were, like, really inspired by The Last of Us, and I'm gonna, like, try to maybe go quickly through, like, all right, let's start with this one. Like, you can already, when you're, like, trying to hire someone, a lot of the, like, I know people who try to hire you, they will have enough information from looking at your portfolios. So, for example, I can tell already, like, what could be improved over here is a lot of the images, they feel slightly, like, grayish in tone. Like, there's this the saturated one, the saturated colors, the saturated like one. I don't say monotone, right? But you can see, like, there's, like, this force of habit or like this line you're staying with. So it's important to come up with a portfolio of, like, just only a couple of pieces, for example, that will show, like, something different, as in the thumbnails even will feel different, right? And I would say, because I've already looked at this one, like, this one is incredibly amazing, and I would say, like, it's super close to The Last of Us looking images. But the thing is, like, when we are working in 3D, like, this will often happen. By that I mean, because the guys were, like, photo bashing, they were, like, even if there were, like, some metallic beams, they didn't feel as straight, because what I'm trying to get at is this image feels just attached to 3D. That's the only thing I really have a feedback about it. So, for example, we get to see this pipe, right? And it's, like, super straight. So I feel like it could be, like, a bit wobbly, and there could be, like, some stain on it, right? This one could be a bit wobbly, then you can break silhouette, maybe something is hanging from it, and the same goes in here. So the way we want to work in 3D is we want to always push the silhouettes, and I'm pretty sure like we bashed a bunch of stuffs in, right? Stuff in, and the other thing is, and it's like a minor thing, like value wise, like really don't want to for the values to blend in here like so, right? We want to push clear reads, but other than that, I think that's like an amazing looking image. But I would just like try to, when working on next one, really try to focus on this, like push them more, make them feel more organic, and that's where like even if you look at scans.
Uh-oh, I know your password.
Yeah, I have like a bunch of Sketchfab accounts.
Oh, you used it for what?
I mean, because I sometimes I can't buy some assets with my main account. I don't know why, so I need to use the other one. So even if you look at the scan, that's why I like scan. Like all of the edges, they will feel a bit wobbly, even if it's like lousy scan, right? Like this feels already like so good. There's so much stuff happening, and it's so super hard to try and replicate it. So often what I will do is like get this scan, for example, and cut it into pieces and then reuse it in various illustrations, right? So yeah, let's move to the other image. Yeah, this one has the same basically, right? This is the same. And with this one, I will say that with aerial perspective. So the way aerial perspective works, it can work this way, but it's a creative choice. But I would really try to avoid going to pieces that just gets like lighter as they go further away from the camera, right? So just to show you, usually what we'll see in arts is, and that's how we were like. That's how all of us have been taught. As stuff recedes into the distance, it gets lighter and lighter in value, right? But that's not how always like a real perspective works. And the other thing is like the sky should be always lighter than, for example, those buildings, right? Those buildings should be darker, way darker in value. So the way a real perspective works is, I would feel like with this image is if our character is standing over here, like you kind of jumped the gun and you made the tone so light in here, right? And what I'm trying to say is the way aerial perspective works, that in between the character and the super light background, there will be another shit happening, as in stuff will get more saturated blue and darker in value, right? So if you skip like this area that's in shadow, a super strong reads, and this area, you will flatten the image. Basically, you have like this foreground and this background, right? I don't know if I'm making sense, but what I would do, I would just make those buildings, I would make them stay in maybe in shadows, and maybe it will be just easier to show some of the examples. Like in here, for example, right? I didn't want for those mountains to be super light and value, right? And if you approach it this way, where you really play with aerial perspective, it allows you to come up with more compositional choices. Like, because if you're like narrow it down to like, all right, my background will always get lighter and lighter in value, you're taking away from the possible choices you can make. And the thing is, it's also our focal point, so it should be a strong read, right? But yeah, let's move to the other image. This one is super cool. I like this crop better, and what you will often see in concept in portfolios is sometimes we are afraid to explore the compositions, and something I've struggled with for a long time. So, for example, if you have this image, there's really no reason for those trees to take so much out of the composition, and this one, like we're gonna do it unconsciously because we want to fill the image with something. But the thing is, if you place an element, every element you place in your image, it becomes your compositional tool. So if it's a tree, you want for those trees to be visible in the distance. You want to repeat them. You want to push depth with those trees. So this one works a bit better in my mind than this one. And there's so much time you spend with designing the mech. So what I would do, I'll just like rotate the camera a bunch of times. I like build a different comps out of it, right? Because I mean, it's so important that when you spend some time on doing something, you really want to showcase it, and you want to come up with multiple shots. And then like the mood, I like the mood, I like the color palettes, but also the other thing is we always want to color grade our images. So some of the areas, they feel just like a bit black, as in they lack color. So that's what I'm trying to go with. Like we can see it happening in a lot of the images. So it's always worth grading the shadows to like tint into like warms, I would say, I would tint into like maybe some greenish tone to be able to for it to work well with all of the saturated colors.
Yeah. By the way, if you guys have something to say, just jump right in, right?
Yeah, but I think like
I
right
don't
now,
want
I don't
to
know.
interrupt.
Yeah, so let's go through a different portfolio. I don't know how we're gonna do it. Because I've sent you guys the emails.
Yeah.
So maybe you can go through like pick one.
Yeah, you pick.
You want me to share screen? Yeah? You can see it?
Yep.
Can you read the message? Can you read the email? Are there any questions in the email?
Yeah.
Hi, Piotr, this is Matthias from Electro. It's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this precious information. I Blender a year ago. This info just sending you what I did. This is just technical piece, nothing of an amazing design or anything, just learning a lot with it. Let me know what you think on how to improve it. Also, there is one image you did on ArtStation I have a question about. I marked the circles on the screenshot.
Oh yeah, I
think
this
this one is more for you, Piotr.
Yeah. Yeah, how do you do that?
This is ambient occlusion, right?
Yeah.
No.
Gotta be, right?
So this was a water shader that I was testing out. It's called True Water. It's an amazing water shader, but it's totally not perfect because to be able to generate those, it's super heavy on the scene.
Is it the one that requires a lot of subdivision?
No, it's just like the shader is like extremely heavy. Oh, I think that's the one that requires a lot of subdivisions too.
Yeah. It's heavy. That's heavy as shit.
Yeah. So this guy. It's very cool. It's very packed. Shows it's very decentralized a little bit. I think that there is a high level. There's a little bit of a problem with values here. Everything blends with everything.
Yeah.
And the aerial perspective could be stronger a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit all over the place. It doesn't have a clear focal point because there's just so much noise in terms of detail everywhere. But I think if you would structure it a little bit better, cut this off a little bit, make this darker, make this darker, make this a little bit lighter. Sort of, make things cut off from each other so it's not all the same value, because the value change here, I can see that there's aerial perspective, but the value change here is almost the same as it is here. And that's like the main problem of this image. I think this image could be like 5 shots,
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
It can be 5 shots
here,
Yeah.
And you have to be very mindful and careful of the scale for if this is grass.
Yeah, scale, dude. Yeah.
Scale issues are very, very, very big here. I don't know. Yeah. I think that's it. That's all it is.
What about
for me?
Go talk about another one.
Let's talk about another one.
Yeah. I think that one also. Can you come back a bit? Sorry. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I think
Don't be sorry, Queen. Don't be sorry, Queen. Go, Queen.
It's kind of feels washed out, right? With the lighting too. Like, if it's unclear, like what you're trying to achieve. Like, are you trying to achieve like an overcast or a daylight, right? If it's daylight, then I don't really see the contrast that's usually associated with daylight. You know what I mean? Like the shadow is usually really sharp and deep, and it's kind of in the middle without kind of making any statement of what the image is going to be. And I agree, it can be 5 shots too. And the scale and everything I think can be better too, especially that round thing in the middle with the fence on top, right? I think the fence reads kind of like a small fence, but it's supposed to be really big, I guess. So really careful with that. I think just play more with the lighting and really think about what do you want to show with this image, right? You want to show the middle circle, or you want to show the city, and want to show what aspects, and again can be split into many shots. So
that's the problem, because the sunlight is so sharp.
I mean,
it shows there should be a clear sun. Yeah.
I know we wanted to like I want to add my 3 cents.
What? Add what?
I want to add my 3 cents. I don't know. Can you see my screen or show my screen here?
Okay, I'm showing it. I'm showing it. Calm down, dude.
So the thing is, basically what's kind of not working is no, I don't say it's not working. It's like because you guys mentioned like the importance. We want to show one or the other thing in our shot. Wait, you're not showing my screen, dude?
I'm showing it, man.
Or are you? Okay.
Yeah.
So the thing is like this feels the same size as this area and as this area. Like this is as important as this one. This is one is as important as this one, and then we have those huge shape, which kind of flattens the image. What we want to do is show one more than the other one, and what we can actually do is like take this boat maybe or something, this pier, and place it in the foreground, so it's basically like poking out, right? So this shape will be big, and then like maybe push the city back and like group it together, and yeah, either go with sunset or with strong sun, for example, or with an overcast. Like never try to go in between. So those objects are already grouped, but the values they're just like blending together, right? So some of that this should be, I feel like, closer to the camera and really big. This should be further away, and then the structure maybe it could be somewhere over in fields first, and it's like maybe not as big, right? Like pick and choose what do you actually want to show in the image, and then the other thing is about the plants. They're too big, but also we want to group them together, like because they're like randomly scattered right now, right? So there's the shot. There could be plants grouped in here, and then maybe in here is just like an area of rest of sand, and it's like doing something cool, right? So yeah, you're trying to just show a bit too much in this one image.
Yeah, I think what's
move to the other one.
I think try to put this image into Photoshop and then put a threshold filter over it. Like see if the shapes still read that way. I think that's a good way to assess it.
Oh, what's that? All right. Let's jump back to Bart. So Bart, pick another email.
Hi Piotr, really enjoyed the tutorial. I just want to say thanks for sharing your process, and I do indeed have a question. In the tutorial you were talking about optimizing your Blender scene and keeping it lightweight so that it's easy to preview the render and make changes on the composition. I tried to apply that to the latest personal project, but found it to be a pretty hard and somewhat stifling to continuously think about, which made me think, is it worth sacrificing performance over a more spontaneous and free workflow? I'd really appreciate if you could take a look at my portfolio, especially since my latest urban fantasy. I tried to incorporate a lot of things you taught in the post. I don't.
Right, click it.
It's a question for you, Piotr, but I would say no.
I mean, so sometimes I mean, like you know, we when I'm doing art, I'm trying to do like one and done. A lot of us do, right? But then the scenes we need to be able to iterate on the scenes. So we don't really like it's performance comes first, and optimizing your scene, like it feels a bit off and like might feel a bit time consuming. But if you get used to it, like it's something you will spend only like a couple of minutes of, and then you will keep moving forward. It doesn't take really out that much time.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna do what Piotr did and just do like.
Oh shit! Uh-oh.
Yeah, this is awesome, man. I really like the difference in value between the trees and the ground, and it could be pushed even more to even more graphic statement, because this image already has a graphic value to it, you know. Just because of that thing, because it has white stone, dark green, and the yellowish greenish sort of division. I do think, however, that it lacks a little bit of aerial perspective, and I think that because it's divided in half like this, it kind of feels like you're making a few statements at the same time. I know that this image is about the church, but then you have this, which is very, very prominent, you know?
Yeah.
And it could be cool as a compositional tool, but then it would have to be a little bit different camera, I guess, to sort of really make this into the composition. Other than that, I think the piece is great, you know? I would definitely do something with those birds, though. If you're putting something up front like this, then it's just, it ruins the image a little bit, I feel like.
Yeah, they're kind of spread evenly too. Almost.
Yeah.
Mushy.
Because it's sort of, the whole image is cut in half because of that water thing, you know?
Like the water could be like taking 2/3 of the image, right, with this leading line
Yeah.
up to the castle, or the castle
either
should
make
be, like,
it really into water, you know, or like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost like an S in the middle too.
Yeah.
Right in the middle.
Did you say ass in the middle?
Did you just say ass in the middle?
No.
Are you swearing, Cleo?
No.
All right, let's move to the next image then. I think
it's very cool image.
Yeah.
This one, I think it has like the same issues that Piotr talked about and that we talked about before, which is it's a little bit washed out from values.
Yeah.
especially aerial perspective is not really working very well. But he chose a very hard topic, which is like this water, the dynamic flow of water is very hard to do. So he chose something very very difficult. And at first glance, I didn't even notice that there were characters here. That's how much of value jumps are everywhere here in the focal point, which is a little bit too much for my taste. So the storytelling you had, it was completely gone for me at first glance. And if I wouldn't spend like longer to look at it, I probably would never notice it. Yeah.
Dude.
I don't think that this is needed here, This is sort of a little bit breaking. And also this statement, if you make something like this with the blur and everything, you're sort of showing another thing. You're introducing another thing, which is that water flows from the top. And it's not enough. You're making half statements about things. And it's just not...
When I just want to interrupt for a second. So often, like when someone was like showing the portfolio, or I was doing it, when I was showing an image and then I had to explain what is happening in the image, I failed. Like you want to make conscious choices, you want to make understandable choices in the images. You don't need to explain your image. You want for the image to explain itself, right? So there's a bunch of choices that don't create this statement.
Yeah, there's a whole level of storytelling here that is not very explained.
It can be can make it really cool.
It could be.
But I like some of the waves actually. Like some of the waves are cool.
Dude, can you go to the page of this image and scroll down? Yeah, there's a block. I think the block out was better. The bottom one, the most bottom one. Yeah, I don't know, value wise and clarity
it was calmer.
too. Yeah, like it feels
like
more grouped almost.
All right, guys. So if you were to improve it like within 1 hour, what would you do?
I would get rid of that water, and I would calm down this water massively.
Yeah, I'll be waterbender.
Because
clear read for characters.
It breaks the scale. It breaks the scale, and then I would introduce a darker value of green, and do graphics splotches all over. Maybe calm down a little bit the green in the rock, and that's it. It would be an awesome image. I would get rid of this in the corner.
Just darker black caped characters.
Yeah, characters would have to be a different
red
value.
Caped actually, red caped.
Yeah,
red
and maybe calmer ground where the characters are.
Yeah,
and a guy in the middle that is like twice as tall,
And
so that he's like the king.
Yeah, they're kind of maybe worshipping something, right? Almost.
Yeah.
Can you show the portfolio, the thumbnails, the portfolio?
The thumbnail of this.
Exactly.
The thing.
Oh yeah, what do you think about the house design, the second one?
Which one?
This one, Bart.
I like this. It's very simple. It's simplistic and it's pretty.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think?
Shapes, like a bunch of conscious choices. Like I really like the huge shape and the small shape.
Yeah, it's very nice.
It's awesome. So often, right, when artists are working on an image, it's like they know what like big, medium, small means. But a lot of the images, they will be only built from like small or medium blocks, right? And that they will forget about the tertiary shapes. And I really love the fucking roof. And there's like this
nice. The silhouettes are nice, really nice.
Yeah, this is amazing.
They're stylized silhouettes. But for me, what's important in this image is that I take one glance at it and I know what is what. What is wood, what is wall, what is stone. And it's
really
all
clear separation.
It's balanced, These
and the ivy, right? It's not like splattered all over. I'm pretty sure, I would say, if I were to look at this image, if I'm looking at this image, and then the other one from like 4 months ago, I wouldn't say it's done by the same artist, right?
Yes,
you become like super conscious of your choices in this design. So that's an amazing improvement.
This is much more refined than this.
Yeah, the latest one is really good. Can you click that?
The first one, yeah. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, this feels nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like it. Like you obviously know how to design shit, so.
Yeah, this is
nice presentation too.
And the character is placed like not to the edge of the screen, right? He's just like right in the right place.
Yep.
Yeah, and it has some weird storytelling to it, and it's nice. It just feels nice.
All right, guys, let's move on. So, Marius, you go next.
Yeah.
Or do you want Bart to something?
Close your tabs. Close your tabs.
Let me just.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Let me try to share it. I'm actually on iPad, so I don't know if that's going to work, but...
How dare you?
I don't have camera.
Wait, let me watch. Let me watch. Okay.
Is it working?
Yep, working.
Nice. Okay, so there's this email that says, here is link to my ArtStation for the portfolio review, and that's about it. So let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me? Yeah?
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right. So, yeah, let's see. So first of all, what I see, like... Sorry, Piotr, you said something?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different things, right? So there are like stylized stuff, there is like some almost photoreal stuff, and then line art. So, I'm not sure what you're going for. So like if you're looking for work, I would like pick where you want to work and then focus on that and try to make portfolio based on what you're going for, right? Now, when looking at these are cool, but these are like, this it says like some more concept design for sensitivity. So I'm not sure if it's like your personal project or something.
This is more layouting though, right?
Yeah, it seems like something like maybe it's like client work or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this, for example, is like...
Can I just like move? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Like
Sure.
So with the city, because obviously you spent a lot of time use Blender and you spent a lot of time designing the city. So you've already invested a lot of time doing this. So why not try and come up with a bunch of shots, trying to show what you've done already, maybe from an eye-level perspective? Yes, we get to see this shot, for example, right? But it's just that you can squeeze so much more with... Like getting to this point must be super fucking hard. It must be like the process,
yeah, because there's like the whole city built, right?
Yeah, but once you have it, like just try to explore it more. Just try to show it more.
Yeah, like placing character, could like right away give you like some story or whatever. Because now it's like, it's about the building, but what is it happening? Is it like a design of the building? Then you could work a bit more on the design, right? Because like one side of the building is pretty flat and pretty empty. Is it about, I don't know, what is it about, right? So it's not clear. So you could like push on that, and also adding character always adds some, it's easier to tell something what you want to tell. Yeah, but like for example, this one is totally different. Like I don't know about you guys, but I couldn't say it's the same guy did this, right? Because it's so...
I mean, the sketch is amazing as well.
Yeah, a lot of movements.
Yeah, I like this.
Oh, Bart likes
yeah, it's really cool. But one thing I would say, so like Piotr was bashing me recently about like placing my horizon line. We're
abused every day.
Yeah, exactly. Like depending on what you want to show in the image, right? So if like this horizon line is pretty, let's see if I can do this.
You don't need, you never put the horizon line in the middle,
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. But if your horizon line is so high, and then the character is here, and then basically your whole image is about this area, and there's not much happening there, right? So if it's about the character, maybe it should be like closer to character, and then the image is more about the character, because now the image feels like it's about the ground, but there is nothing happening on the ground. Like it's cool. Technically, it's made really, really awesome, and like I like overpaint as well. It's it's because a lot of artists, when they overpaint the images, they like mush it and like smudge too much and like make it dirty. But this feels still clean. Like I like it. But just like choices that you make for placing your horizon, depending on the storytelling you're doing, I think that could be improved. But yeah, Piotr, go ahead.
So I think like there's this shrine on the right, and it's barely visible because the values are so low and everything is blending. No, to the left. To the left. Between the
trees. Yeah, here.
No. In the right corner. I'm sorry, in the right first.
God dang it, Piotr.
In the right first? This?
Yeah, in the upper. Yeah. So there is a statue behind the mark you've made.
Okay.
I think that might be in the focal. It could be the focal point. Like if only it were like a stronger read, for example, right?
Yeah.
But you're totally right. All right, continue.
Okay, so let's see. What else we have here? So, and you have like a block out. That's cool.
Wow, that's good. And
again, like you already spent so much time making this shot, right? So exactly what we said previously, like you can push out so much more out of this scene. You can have like a close-up of the guy. You can show the character. You can show the statue. You can show so many things. So I would just use what you already have and get so much more mileage out of it. But I think for the portfolio, it's really cool that you show all of these steps and how you approach it.
Yeah, dude. I think one thing for me is that because I think the focal. Can you go back to the previous one? Yeah, I think the focal point of this image that he wants to make is the character in that statue in the third left one, right? But it's such a kind of missed opportunity to have the character obscured by that tree over there. Like I would just move the tree a bit and make the character like hero it up a bit with his silhouette, if it's the focal point. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the only thing I want to say.
Yeah. Okay, so again, totally different style, right? Again, I couldn't say it's the same guy, which is actually your strength because you can do so many things, I think. So yeah, but I would just, if it's a portfolio specifically for something, like I would focus all of your stuff on, specifically what you want to work on. But it's cool. I think it's cool.
Yep.
This looks almost like a side scroller game.
Do you want to do another portfolio, Marius?
Yeah, sure.
Because you're sharing the screen, so
open it. Tasty.
So, hey Piotr, first of all, and I really mean that, your work is absolutely fantastic. I love the scenes, amount of detail, and grungy look, not to speak of the realism you achieve. I first stumbled upon Lechlanko Cafe 2 and was totally blown away. Currently, I'm still a hobbyist, but I hope to make concept art my job in the near future. So your feedback would be incredibly helpful. Thanks a lot for the opportunity. There's some more recent keyframes. I'm looking forward to hearing what I have to work on to become a professional. Okay, let's see. All right.
Oh yeah.
So some keyframes.
That Dimnosaur.
This is cool. Yeah, cinematic for sure. Let's see other ones actually first. Jurassic World. Yeah, it's cool. Let's see what else.
I shouldn't talk about it.
It's cool that the shows, they feel different, right?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. So about this one, so it's really cool. Like I like how dynamic it is. I like, it's cinematic. The shots are really cinematic. But Bart was talking about like there are a lot of pieces lately where people just take assets and they just make shots. And there's like no design statement. And I don't know, maybe you designed the dinosaur. Or maybe not, but I think you could just push on that a little bit more. So try to be more original and try to come up with some something new, something that we haven't seen before. Because this is cool, but I think a lot of clients are looking for something like more original. But as a keyframe, of course, this is really, really cool. Maybe like I would place like the character is very on the side, but I mean that's fine. That's kind of works. Yeah, you guys have anything to add to this?
The composition is very static for a dynamic shot like this. Also for me, like if you work with characters and if you make your character your focal point, then you really have to spend time into the posing. Now the posing is very stiff. It's very stiff and it sort of breaks the image for me because his hips are aligned with his shoulders and he's not dynamically reacting to it. He's like a doll that has been posed. And I see that in a lot of work.
A bit off.
Yeah, it's a bit off. Yeah, it feels uncanny.
Yeah, I think the whole mood feels to me too like instead of him being surprised by a dinosaur suddenly attacking, it feels like dinosaurs like, hey, what the fuck, man? Ooh, don't mind me. The guy's like just not. It lacks that kind of tension, like the gravity of the situation. You know what I mean?
So I just wanted to share screen quickly, talk about the positions and the framing.
What? Can you repeat that?
I want to share my screen quickly. Oh.
Okay. Let me
Can you see my
What
screen?
was that?
I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
Right. So what I would say is, like, the story is there is a dude that is about to get fucked up by a huge danger.
Mm-hmm. Huge
So it doesn't.
dinosaur.
So what I would say is, for example, when it comes to the size of your objects again and the composition. So, for example, this area, it doesn't bring any information to our image. So I would say this is our framing.
Yep.
And then the character, because he's in danger, he should be closer to the dinosaur, and he should be overwhelmed by the size of the dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So this should be small maybe, and the dinosaur he should be feeling the frame. Like the tail should be going outside the frame, right?
Yeah.
So he's like being like we can really read it. Small, big, he's fucked. Right? And the pose, yeah, of course, Colmer pose, but that's not only points about like, you know, just framing and the differences between the size of the objects. Like this, if you were to approach this like this one, the character being small and the dino being huge and they're close to each other, and there's no unnecessary elements, we would like someone who's looking at it would feel entirely different about the image. All right, back to you, Marius.
All right. Okay, so this one, to me, this one feels a little bit mushy. You know, like there's a lot of noise. There's no calm areas in this image, right? And it's like at first I couldn't even see the character there because there is a character, you know, that's shooting the snake thingy.
Can you kind of point it?
You see, there's
okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a character there.
Yeah.
Right. So we want to make sure it reads, right? So if you're telling this story of this snake attacking and this character is like shooting her, you want to make it read, right? And the angle, like the shot is like aerial shot. Again, it would be really easier to sell this story if the character would be like, you know, if the camera would be like somewhere here behind the character maybe, and you see character small, snake attacking you fast, you know, and it's like attacking you, and the frame is like this: character small, snake big. Really easy read. You can read character, you can read the snake, but you know this angle doesn't help to sell the story, and also all the values are all over. So if you like desaturate it, which I can't do now, there's a lot of noise. So there's like dark light, you know, like all of it. Like we need to separate big, medium, small shapes, and we must have some calmer areas for, you know, for the shots, because now it's super noisy.
Yeah.
So I think that's most important bits.
I like this whole jungle vibe, but don't you guys feel like the motion blur is blurring the wrong things a little bit?
Oh yeah, that happens a lot. Yeah, there's a tail, then there's a side, and the frame again. Like there's a lot of information on the left that doesn't bring anything to the frame. Like this image could be cropped just to focus on the character and the snake, and that's
like this
already. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the snake feels like it's like a neck skeleton there.
Yeah, it's broken a little bit.
Yeah.
But I feel like those images that you have the tendency to make those images as if you're looking at a situation from somewhere else. They're not quite cinematic compositions. I wouldn't even make it so that the guy is small and the snake is big. I would make it more like from behind. I would get the camera way closer to the character and maybe put the camera behind the character and the snake looming over the character, you know? So you're really with the character,
actually, right.
with the character in that situation, and not because the dinosaur shot is like you're looking from between the trees at what's happening. You're not with the character at this moment, you know? It would be much cooler if it was just behind his back and the dinosaur would be like attacking him, you know?
Yeah, and also when doing cinematic shots, it's always like try to come up. You have to decide if you're doing game concept art or cinematic concept art.
Yeah.
Because when you were working on cinematic shots, you also want to like play with the shapes. So you want to do a one comp where maybe character is small and the creature is big, and then you want to make another shot where the character is big and the snake is somewhere in the distance. You know, when you transition from frame to frame, you have so many different establishing frames, right? So it's just worth like it's always worth having one shape being more important and bigger than the other. Never make the two shapes of the character and the story the same in size, for example. Right?
Yeah. I think when it comes to making cinematic shot, it's also helpful to think about what the medium that you're trying to replicate is. Like, it's cinema, right? You only have nowadays 2-3 seconds to show a shot. And that means that you've got to be really effective with it. Composition needs to be strong. You need to tell the stories only that matters, right? That the stories that matters in that frame. And that goes back to Marius's point about cropping it, you too, Piotr, and Bart too, right? So, you got to tell less stories because it's the nature of the medium that you're trying to replicate. It's not a one frame medium. It runs through time.
Wow, that sounds so smart. You're so smart.
Yeah, that's really clever.
Fuck you, dude. That's
okay,
chaotic.
another one. Let's do another one.
Yeah, another one.
So this one, remember Piotr told never halves. This has exactly that, right?
But it looks so real. It's like a TV shot.
Yeah, I mean, like I really love the color and the lighting and the shapes, right? They don't feel like super 3D.
Yeah,
that's true.
But you're
if you're pushing for scale, you could have the horizon even lower, right? Because now it's on thirds, but if you want to show these huge shapes, it could be even lower, right? And because this space is kind of empty, there is no information, there is no detail, nothing that matters or makes this image better. So I would probably lower the horizon even more, and then we could sell the scale even better. Never half. So maybe pushing these big shapes a little bit, just so it doesn't split the image exactly in half. Could make it a bit better. Now about the machines itself, it's a little bit unclear what exactly is that. It's cool, like Piotr said, it's not too 3D. It has a lot of gribble. It's interesting, but the function of it, what exactly is that? Is it like Dune? Is it extracting something? Can it move? I'm not sure, right? So it's really not that clear what exactly is that. And this image is about these machines. So I think you should try to explain with your design what exactly is that. About the design, there could be some more clean space. Again, big, medium, small shapes. Because now, the fidelity of the detail of the noise, it's pretty even everywhere. The big shape is cool, all right. The pipes, all right. But then everything else is noise, 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 noise. And it's a bit hard to, not hard, but I think the design could just be improved by introducing some big shapes.
Yeah, the pipes, the pipes are reading really nice, right? Because the pipes, they have some cuts on them, and there's a lot of area of calmness. And then, because this image, it only has a few elements. There's the sound, there's the dudes, and there's the huge two bases. So to easily to tweak it, this image within a couple of minutes, if you introduce a shape into your image, try to repeat it at least a bunch of times. I would say never 2 times. So I would add a bunch of bases, maybe another one somewhere in the distance, right? Because it feels exactly. You have something you already have the asset, and it would already, and then maybe the character and the aux or whatever it is could be placed between the background structure and the one in the middle, for example.
Exactly here. And then maybe there's some details that lead the eye, just to fill this frame a little bit, and then maybe clouds are leading again. There's some, or maybe there's a smoke that's leading a little bit or something. And it's really easy fixes that could improve this image because it's already really cool, I think. Cool.
Marius,
should we move on?
Characters in half, you've done. Can you show the image, or did you?
No, I deleted it. I don't know what you're talking
that all
about.
of us we are doing on instinct. On instinct, our mind wants to always place something in the middle, and it happens in the tutorials, efficient environment design.
Okay.
All the time when I play something on instinct, it's right in the middle, and then I need to slap myself on the wrist. Right, I've just made this choice. I need to be aware of it. I need to move it, and it comes after a couple of seconds. Right?
99% off.
All right, let's go to you, Leo. It's your time.
Wait, can we pause a bit? I need to go to the bathroom again.
Yeah,
I'll pause.
All right, so you keep recording, then I will. Oh, okay.
All right, let me pause a bit, right?
Yeah.
Hold on. because we almost at 2 hours, so we gotta be efficient with it.
Yeah.
What the fuck, Piotr? I cannot believe you said that, man. What the fuck? Wow. Honestly, I'm surprised. Okay, so it's my turn, right? The fuck, man. Okay, so we have this, and the message was, I think, and hope you're doing well. I saw your post on Instagram about the feedback video, and you and Leo are going to do it. And it would be really awesome if you could have a look at part 2, part 3 of the call images, since since you had already given me feedback on part 1, thought it might be cool. And Leo also wanted me to give some feedbacks, and here's the link. And yeah, can you see this? You already gave feedback to this?
Yeah, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, let me see.
I wonder if you will give the same feedback.
Wait. I think for me, it's, I don't know, like, what strikes me the most is where this purple light is coming from.
Okay.
Yeah, that kind of strikes me the first. Like, if it's from red and blue, I don't think it works that way. So I'm not sure. But yeah, that kind of strikes me the most. But I think the whole image composition, I would just cut it to here, man. Like, well, let me see. Let me screenshot it.
And the way we are scribbling over the images, that's exactly a part of our process, right?
Yeah,
when you're working
exactly.
on the images.
Yeah, let me change the screen first. I'm not sharing it, I think. Change windows. What? Screens. All right, man. Okay, so can you see it, guys?
Yep.
Yeah, so I would just crop it this way instead of just too long to the left, because you want to be able to see the police car. Sure, it's here, right? And the characters are here. But I think most of all, I think you're doing too much here in terms of lighting and just making. I know that you're trying to make the thing interesting, right? But I think if you just limit the color palette of the lighting, like say do something like this, I think it would work better with the mood too, right? Mm-hmm. Because this is supposed to be like a crime scene, right? And here I don't feel like it. I feel this scene is almost like, it kind of feels scary, but it kind of feels also like two cops just busting a party of a teen, right? But if you just tone down it and really keep simplifying the colors and the lighting, it would be I think work really well for this one. And really focus on also, if you want to light stuff, I know that you're trying to make this cop more interesting to show him with the silhouette, right? But I don't think this is the right approach. When you'll want to light something, I think it's best that, especially artificially, you want it to feel like almost invisible. You want it to feel like almost it's kind of, integrated into the scene. I'm not sure if that makes sense. But on the next things, I think is also a continuation.
Wait.
Right?
So I want to
What?
So with this one, I gave the same feedback as you, as in when it comes to framing.
Yeah.
It feels like you were trying to show too much in the frame.
Yeah.
And then you were trying to push the wrist. You wanted to make the bikes visible in the scene. You want to make the cops visible in the scene. You want to make the car visible in the scene.
Yeah.
Like pick and choose what you want to do. Because my feedback was also take the foreground cap and make him bigger, so his head is almost touching.
Oh yeah. That's a
and
great
maybe you
point
can
too.
only see a glimpse of his shoulder with the police patch on it, right?
Yeah.
And then the character, the second one can stay as the same, because on the original image to the left, for example, there's the cop car, there's the neighborhood, like stuff that's really it's not important to the story. So it's all about like picking and choosing what the story is about, right? So it's about two guys approaching the home, right? So yeah, okay, you can continue.
Yeah, because I think if you see some examples of movie frames, right, you can be really graphic and be really clear without doing fancy things. Like you can do this, like it's literally like just a blue image, right? But it's clear because from the values only and from this light being here, taking attention to here, you can clearly tell that it's about the family and about the house, probably, right? And same about this too, like the kids here, the cars here, right? And it kind of sells it without kind of adding too much things into it, right? You can just see some examples.
Do you have this file laying around your drive, or?
Yeah, this is for a thing. This is for a thing I'm making. But yeah, right. I think So for me, if I'm lighting a scene like this, I would try to achieve it with just one light source first. And if that one light source achieves the goal, then I would be really, really careful when I want to add artificial ones to not make it obviously artificial like this. And that brings me to the point of this one, right? So again, I think this one can be just cropped like this. And then this light right here, I get it that you're trying to kind of silhouette the cop, right? But again, where this come from? It's practical light, but why is it looking so artificial, right? I would just calm it. I would either calm it down a bit or find some other way to silhouette the cop, either by making the room darker or some other light is here or whatever like that. But because
and just to clarify, like set dressing with artificial light is totally allowed.
Yeah, it's fine, but
they need to feel justified to some extent.
Yeah, they need to feel justified, and even if you want to go for a cheated light, unrealistic, you want to feel like they are part of the scene as well, right?
And which light should be the most important one in this shot?
Dude, there's a lot of answers to that question. I feel like you can just get away with maybe a light from here that's really strong going there, like silhouetting the cop in here. Maybe the flashlight too can be that if you wanna.
Where the policemen are going?
No, here, right? Red, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
but I think
this should be the strongest.
No, I think there's a lot of that answers to that question. I think you can play around with here, because the next thing you want to see is this one, right? But if you want to make this one stronger, I feel like, but I don't know if you want to go realistic, but I just don't feel like this stronger would make the best one, unless it's the other color, right? I just don't feel like red would make the best image out of this, and that's kind of subjective to me. But if you want to go for mystery, for sure, I think maybe a light from here, right? Just silhouetting the cop. And then they don't need to be kind of strongest too. You can hint it as long as it doesn't kind of take away attention with too much things like this. I think because this red is so strong, it doesn't need to be the strongest. Like, that's my hunch, but I have to try it. But because this red is so saturated.
When it comes to doing cinematic shots, like in game concept arts, we want to make super heavy reads, like the character is strongly silhouetted. But when it comes to cinematic shots, I mean, the thing with our eyes, they recognize faces and human silhouettes and letters and numbers.
Yeah.
So we don't need to be so obvious with placing like super clear reads when it comes to characters. And the way I would actually approach it, I mean, because I see like you're going for a different setting, and actually when doing those kind of shots, it's so easy to adjust the lights and come up with the different shots. But for example, for me, the way I would approach it is I would just like tone every other light in the scene besides the red one, and the red one could be actually casting like this slight rim light on the characters, but all of the I'm not saying like, hey, we have all of those lights, let's just push the red light. I'm saying tone all of the other lights down. Don't make this character on the left holding the flashlight up top, pointing towards top. Just push the red light from the front, right?
Yeah, to me, this won't work because it's here, right? It will work if you change the angle, but if you just make it red here, it's just mushy red over here, I feel like. So that's my issue with that. And then I think the reason why I'm just wanna like kind of silhouette him and not having this fill light here is because on the next shot you can clearly see his face, so there's no need to show his face here too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think this shot works the best out of all of them because it's really graphic, it's clear, it's not showing too much, it's showing just enough, and you can clearly see what they're doing, right? This guy's maybe standing guard, watching his six, and this guy's probably kind of calling for backup because he saw something. And I think this image I really like because it lets me kind of imagine stories, and plus the composition I think works the best out of all of them. Like, this is I think the only frame where you kind of be really effective about it. And these ones, like as Piotr said, yeah, you can go for Piotr's approach. I think that could work as well, if you just play around with the angle. But I would just make sure that, again, like tone it down, everything, and then just play around. Maybe from here, maybe this could work. Maybe from here it could work, but just play around with one light first before you just play around with a lot. I think it can go to really hard juggling if you put a lot of light at once and try to manage them.
I think I would take even a different approach to this.
Oh, I'm curious.
I think I would kill the red light in the previous shot.
This?
I would kill the flashlights. I would kill the red light, and I would make the downstairs very dark.
Here,
and
right?
then like a streak of blood, a streak of blood on the floor or something. Leading there.
Oh yeah.
And then the next shot, they would be in the flashlight in the darkness.
Hell yeah, yeah, that could work too.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because compositionally, they would come from the safety of a house into something sinister.
Yeah.
So it would add a much more like an undertone to a story. Like it's a regular house.
Yeah, that's even more subtle, right?
Yeah, but there's something very sinister downstairs.
Yeah.
And then downstairs they have the flashlights and they see something. That's what.
Yeah, but dude, if I'm asked to do this image, then I would just totally change the angle totally. Like, I would just maybe do a shot of them either from the side, going in, something really simple, something really graphic.
Yeah.
And then maybe something like kind of like this, right? And maybe these two guys are walking and this one guy's looking down and you can see red here, right? And there's this yellow light from the back. And that would make a really iconic shot, I think. Like really graphic.
Yeah.
Just like that.
To get them even closer to the characters.
Yeah.
I agree.
There's a lot of approach to this. And yeah, that's it, I think.
Because what Piotr is proposing is a very handed Hollywood,
Yeah.
Just put the red light, fucking,
Yeah,
them
but
everywhere.
also,
It's dangerous. They're going downstairs. It's dangerous there, and it's a very clear message. And it's a very valid approach,
Yeah, you're right. But also, that's worth why it's worth exploring a bunch of different shows.
Hell yeah, dude.
Like majority of the work. I mean, you have all of the pieces, right? All of the pieces are there. So it's just about staging the lights a bit differently.
This is really subjective, though. These things, like I do tend to like more subtle stuff, so take it with a grain of salt there. Yeah. Should we go to the next one?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just picking random ones. Romik. Hey Piotr, how you doing? Loving the tutorials. I can't wait to fully dive into it for my brainstorm class, but I did go through some videos like optimization and string wrap scatter, which I used in my project. Blew my mind. I would love to get some feedback on my whips, especially info on photo bashing, finishing the scenes into cohesive artwork, because I am really intimidated by that part. Also, any advice for getting into the industry, since self-taught artists like me lack the necessary connections that art university may provide artists at all. Okay, let's see some of that work. Oh, I cannot access it because I need to request access. So maybe I can search your ArtStation. So we can do it that way. Oh, here you go.
Yeah, there's a link below. Yeah.
Okay, I'm fucking blind. Right. So let's see. Yeah, what do you think?
Well, you go ahead, Leo.
Yeah, I think it's the same issue again, because there's no clear read, even though it's clearly this one, but the image feels like everything has the same weight and everything is just textures. It's not something, you know what I mean? And this one ironically works better because you can clearly see with the light here. And even I would say this one works better too, because the background is clearly heavy-handedly silhouetting this, but this one is just everything's just mixed, right? And I think it's the same kind of pitfall that you fell into as the previous ones. But let me actually hold on. Let me pause a bit. Open Photoshop. Make sure there's no NDA thing. Okay, so we're in Photoshop. So the thing I said earlier, I always check using this, right? If this is creating a clear image, then I feel like the composition or the shapes in the compositions are reading well enough. But if you do this and it's not reading, then I feel like the way you either light it or compose it or do the value structure is not the best approach, perhaps, right? And let's contrast it with someone's work, right? Let's contrast it with, and I'm not pointing to specifics here, but I'm just going over the general one. So let's check out some of the Piotr's image, right? So, for example, this one. For example, this one, right? You can clearly see what's happening in the middle there, right? there's a face of a guy, and if you play along with it, it's still clear. But with yours, there's no clear discernible kind of what is it like. Okay, I can see a ship here, but where is it standing, right? But here you can clearly see what's happening. There's a sign of something here, like maybe an experiment. There's a guy, there's a guy, there's a guy, and there's a beautiful kind of shape silhouetting behind it. And that's how I think everybody should think about the composition, is to think about it as a whole. Like, does it make a whole kind of beautiful shape out of that? So on this one, I would say think about what's the strongest source of light is. Okay, for sure, maybe it's the jet creating this light here. But then if you do that, then I would be really careful kind of, dealing with these values. Like, why is this really close, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can't you somehow make it kind of like this? It would be really clear. Like, that would be a really, really cheap way of doing it, but it works to me, like just doing that. And lastly, I think the 3D is already better, but you're making the image worse by adding these mushy things. That doesn't really help the read as well. Like, for example, in the 3D, there's a really clear delineation of what this part is, but then you add this kind of dusty things, and you're adding dust just to add dust. You're not thinking about the dust as a shape and as a component in your composition. So you're just picking one brush, and you're just doing that, right? You're not designing the shape of the dust, because they need to be designed as well. And I think thinking about it that way would really, really improve not only this image, I think your other images too.
That is only impacting like a point of a ground, right? And it's like spreading out. The sun is spreading out.
Can you repeat?
So like that, what I'm trying to get at is, it feels a bit mushy. Like there's like a lot of soft brush, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of.
You know, like the Gamma shot in London, like he overpainted the shot.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an engine, and it's impacting just only like a round piece of ground, right? And the particles should be a bit well defined, right? So there should be like this a bit crazy read, but between the jets, there's like area of calmness where we can clearly make the silhouette, for example, right?
Yeah, I think there's a lack of decision here. Like, you need to decide what the shape of the dust is, what the shape of the jet engine is gonna be, what the shape of the kind of, even this, I think it can be much improved. Like, just group this thing, man. Honestly, like, group this. Oh shit, group this thing and make a really nice silhouette out of it, and repeat it to make kind of scale. That could work. And I think you're also obscuring so many things that could really work too, right? Why is the cloud reaching into here? Where's the horizon, right? Is it the storm cloud? Like, why is this mixing? Like, there's so much opportunity to show the splendor of the scene here, even though it's a small part, but it can really enrich your image. But I think the most important one is to fix this one first. Like, to think about, like, the reason why this works. Like, this one, like Jama posted earlier, late. The reason why this works is because, okay, the astronaut is here, the jet engine is clearly shaped, the shape is clearly designed, and then you can see the impact below is also not kind of mushy, right? There's a decision behind it. It's a bold decision too. And then this lighting is really strong, so everything else kind of take a back seat. Right? And I know that I told you that the easy fix would make a lighter background, but you can even go the other way around. You can make it dark even. That could also work with Dreamlight too.
Yeah, I would just make it a sandstorm,
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah. So lastly, I think this image suffers from the same issue too. Like, what is the surface? Like, it's just textures. So there's a lack of decision. Is this the sea? Is it the terrain? What is that? Like, it's clarity. And this looks really small. And I think you meant to show a really big landscape, but it looks really small because it selects the small shapes that indicates a scale. But other than that, I think even the material read is not reading well enough, and the composition is just mushy like the last one. So I think you can really improve on that in terms of the whole stuff. And lastly, I think this one unironically works better than all of the other ones, because at least this one's clear what's happening, even though the silhouette's still unclear too. Like, at least the read of this one feels decisive to me. And there's a shape happening at least. There's a thinking of that. So yeah. There's that. Let me go another one, and then I'll throw it back to you, Piotr. Yep, let's do another one. Okay, so shit. Damn, some doesn't have a message. Wait. Okay, so this is one's from Colton. My name is Colton. I'm replying to the message you posted on the environment design course. I learned a lot from your tutorial. Really appreciate it. And constant reminders not to spend too much time on any one detail and keep moving forward. I currently work for a small studio producing digital comics, but my ultimate goal is to one day work for a studio like One Picture Plus and environment artist. I will be honored if you would review my portfolio and give it some feedback in the areas that I need to improve. My favorite genre is dystopian sci-fi. Are there any specific types of environment projects you think would be the most beneficial for me to practice? For example, are there key types of location design that should be in my portfolio? Should I try focus less on the characters and more on the set dressing, alternate lighting setups? Here's a personal piece revisited after the tutorial. Okay. Dude, I think in terms of what you want to focus, I think you are the person who can answer that, right? If we're speaking about what you want to do, but in terms of usefulness of portfolio, I think Piotr already said it. I think we'd want to see some exterior for sure, natural lighting. And Bart also said that I agree with. We need to see some intent behind it. Like, is there a design? Is there a story? Marius said it too. So then there's that. But this one though, I think this can be 2-3 shots easy, right? For example, this guy being taken by the tendril can be just these guys can be just one shot, honestly. Like, you can do it like, for example, you can just do a shot either from the back, from the point of view of the tendril, going like this, and then one guy's here, maybe one guy's grabbed here like that, right? Big on the frame. Or you can do it from the side, whatever you do. I think both of them can be together and they should be big in the frame. I think that should be it. And then to that point, if you want to include them, you can even do like them trying to help, or this lady here with the car. So this can be really effective that way. But if you want to split it, for sure you can split it. And then the tentacles too, I think it's gonna work better if the tentacle is just plain and doesn't have this glowy thing, because the glowy thing is noisy and it's not showing any intent behind it. What is it, right? Is it some kind of corruption? Like, what is the shape? It's just noisy green stuff. Like, I want to see maybe some veins that goes stronger here, maybe weaker it goes here, or maybe nothing altogether and just, kind of separated by the lighting or the value. But I think this doesn't help the image, this kind of a design. And yeah, just limiting the shots into what the story is about. And then also the characters, they're obviously very human gen preset characters, and because human gen is so ubiquitously used right now, I think it would be wise to just have more effort into it. Like, maybe this lady doesn't just wear it purple, right? And to that point, who are they? Are they scavengers? Are they who? Like, what is this world? Why are they so clean, the clothing? Right? You can go storytelling there, because the reason why this doesn't work as well is because they're also really clean, but the environment is obviously not an environment that warrants a clean clothing, if you know what I mean. And then compositionally, I think technically this works, but it just doesn't do the right thing for this kind of a story. I don't know. What do you guys think?
It's very interesting because you could remove these characters and these tendrils and it would be a nicer shot.
It would be a beautiful image, right? Just put one character here, right?
Yeah. Just one guy with a backpack walking.
So maybe we'll transition to my feedback, Leo. Like, I want to talk about it as well, and I have already a bunch of other arts open.
All right, let me see. We have we have I think 10-15 minutes to do. So let me quit the stream. So yeah, that's from me, and let's transition to Piotr. Let me close the windows first. Wait, hold on, dude. All right, stream it.
Wait, I need to find the art.
God damn it.
Who made the tentacle art?
The tentacle Colton. I just send you the link. Let me. Shit! I closed it. God dang it, Colton.
Yeah, I got it. All right.
Okay, you got it. Stream it.
I'm sharing the screen, or
yeah, share it. Share it.
All right.
Watching. Hold on. Don't talk. All right, talk.
All right. So I don't know why I can't download it though.
Curious. What do you think?
I don't know. So with this one, I would say like you tried to tell too many things, like Leo made. You wanted to make the environment as important as the character. So the way I would do it, I would make a bunch of shots. I would maybe do an established shots of the environment, right? And then focus on like this bit of a story, or like this bit of a story, or like this bit of a story. Because right now it feels like there's a character over here, character over there, there's a character over there, and there's a character over
and they're
here.
Spread evenly, right?
Yeah, they're spread evenly. So each of the part of the image, it feels as important as the other one, and all of them, they're like the same size. So just like, I'm not gonna like draw what you have done, but maybe there's a shot where the tentacles are bigger in the scene and they're grabbing the characters, right? And then we have another shot like this character is running out of the van to try to help it, but we can't. Of course, also it's hard to tell what's the identity of the character. Like, is it like a hunter, scavenger, or whatnot, right? So that's basically it. Like coming with a bunch of different shots. The other shots, though, when it comes to environment, I mean, the other first when it comes to environment, we want to be super careful when placing the ivy. We want for the ivy to be justified. So, for example, I would avoid having like heavy clumps of noise like that. So, for example, if we take a look at here, you've kind of done it already, but if there is an ivy growing here, what I'm trying to get at is I will try to group the shapes, right? So there would be a clump of ivy in here, and then there would be this visible fall off, and then there would be a clean ground, and then the ivy would be clumpy clean, and you have it already, right? But then maybe the surface would be clear. So those are like environment related stuff. And yeah, that's it for this one. Now, the ones that I want to talk about actually are those images. So I really like the lighting in here. It feels like nice and sunsetty. But the thing is, there is no range between values. Like this reads super clear, and it's okay to have only like a slice of an image being like sunlit or silhouetted by the sun. But what our eye likes, what really our eye loves is this, for example, shape. It's clearly silhouetted. We can make the shape, and we can make the shape because this side is lighter and this side is darker. As soon as we would blend the shape, like so, our eyes become confused, and our eyes, they had to be confused. So it doesn't look as appealing. So what I'm talking about is we get to see there's a bunch of forms in here. And my Photoshop just started working. And it's like one value everywhere, right? We really want to avoid stuff happening like in here. And then when we look at the I hate you. You have to edit some of the parts out here. So what do we want to show in this shot? Because I can barely see like a bunch of characters in here, right? And they're this high in the scene. And then here's our focal point, right? So the thing with like using one of the compositional rules is like the rules of thirds. So if I really want to avoid having one third in here and the other focal point in here, right? I would like stretch them out so the characters are somewhere in here.
Hell yeah.
And then our focal point in here. But also like most of us, we read from left to right, right? So I would say our dude should be in here, and those elements should be like maybe somewhere in here, right? And I love the close you've done. But also like when it comes to framing, like I maybe just frame it like so. This character like somewhere in here, right? But also what I'm kind of missing is, and then maybe this should be actually like somewhere higher. But also what I'm kind of missing, if I were to transition to this shot, like I want to connect my characters with the device in the middle. Like I want to create like a leading line, right? I don't want for them to be disconnected. Now for the other shots, this one is cool, but also with this one, I would say this is our framing. Oh, let's call it this. Like so, we have the character, and he's like feeling our frame, and it's big enough, and then we get to see this, and it's smaller. And then maybe like remove this box, and maybe there's like some repeating elements that are like bigger in the frame and like slightly smaller in the distance. But this is already working, where there's just like a lot of information in here that doesn't like this area doesn't really bring anything to the image, right? And like execution wise, lighting is super solid. And then also like I want to crop it like so because there isn't really any information in here, right? So for example, this one is starting to work way better. Like our objects that we want to see are like filling the frame, but then again, like there's this ruin, and because you have one already, why not like add a bunch of them into the distance, going into the distance, right? Like somewhere like so, and then maybe still like lower the camera a bit, so it would drop the shot like so, and then those they should, I feel like they should be standing in closer to the camera maybe. With this one, so it feels a bit more cinematic. I would say the character feels a bit too low to the frame, and there's like this thing happening, right? So it kind of it feels really weird, right? Like the character. Yeah, like I felt like want
alpha
to frame
channel
him,
thing.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you wanted to frame him, but then again, what he's like worshipping, I mean, like looking at, right? We get to see a bunch of dudes, and they're like also like right in the middle, and there is this device. So what exactly is this shot telling? And the thing is, like with all of them, most of the shots, like they're trying to tell the same story. Like this one actually is about this dude.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get to see this one, which is basically the same as this one, right? The same as this one. And I like actually placement of the characters in here. Like that's a nice statement where we get to see the dude and we get to see a bunch of them, and then there's like this area of rest. Like this could potentially work as a shot. I remember there was like this frame in House of Dragons where there was a valley, like so, and it was like all a wall, like a solid wall, and but it had this mountain wall, and it had this ring, and there was another one going from the other direction, and then there was a path in here, like so, and then there was just a small dude over there, and then there was like a castle in the distance, right? So this is like, yeah, that totally works. That's like a conscious choice, right? That's a just image. So I think like this works similar to actually to this one. So this one is actually great. Oh, and they're going to the portal. So this one again, like this is like super unnecessary. So, and maybe it's being cut off by. So I would say this is my framing, but again, it feels like everything is happening in the midground, right? So maybe there's like a bunch of characters, like there's a bunch of them in here, and then there's like, I don't know, maybe on this side, like one bigger in here, and he's like touch. No, because now what I'm trying to do is I'll try to make the character bigger, as big as this shape, and I don't want to avoid for the two shapes to being as big as important. So maybe the character will be like smaller, like so, and they're like going like a bunch of them, right, toward the portal, and maybe actually this portal should be slightly shifted, like to the right, like so, and maybe because we have again the ruins already, maybe there's like a bunch of them repeating into the distance and like filling the frame, right? So for those images, I think that's it. I mean, I would say like that's an amazing work already, and most of the feedback is not about like the 3D execution, or sure the texture could be like a bit maybe less noisy and calming here, but I would say execution wise, like it's already looking great. And yeah, the design wise, like it's an engine. I wouldn't say like we don't always need to show a function. I mean, we get to see like this cheese, and it's connected to this, and it's doing something. So it gives us enough information, and obviously those are like environment-based storytelling images. It would be great to figure out this design and how it exactly works a bit more, but I would say what we have already is working. Now, just to like go quickly through one of the other images I wanted to talk about. To those ones. So I found those are like extremely well polished, right? Clearly, like you Shadi, you've watched
Hey, Shadi.
Danner Varia's tutorial, but I think, and it feels super intense, but the storytelling is a bit confusing. So when you scroll to the bottom, like there's a bunch of shots, and I would say most of the shots they work better than the one you went with because of like this character is this big in the frame, and we get to see a character on the boat, right? And it's like surrendering or taking over the boat, right? While I think you wanted to tell the same story in here. Like we still get to see the character and the boat, but because I love the way you've done the rain, but the thing is, you try to show the environment and you try to make the story important, but because there's like a lot of stuff happening in here, like a lot of rain and whatnot, and the values aren't clear, and because they're like so small in the frame, like this could be our framing, right? And then on the other end, we get to see this character that's like clearly silhouetted, and she's like super she's creating a lot of attention towards like the left side of the frame, right? So I would say this is our focal point, not this, and it feels like you wanted to tell this story, right? And then again, I'm not a huge fan of like having a bunch of like dark spots, unnecessary spots. I mean, with cinematic shots, actually, this will often happen. I'm trying to grade my images like similarly, but what I will avoid is having just black color. So what I will often do when I'm like overpainting or like working in Blender, I will use Path Per 2, or like in Photoshop, I will switch it to black, and then I will see, all right, I don't want this level of black in here. So what I would do is actually pick up some tone, darker tone, maybe this one, use lighten, and a lower value, and maybe actually it should be a warmer color. Like it kind of unifies the image a bit more, or maybe actually it could be a color, right? Now, execution-wise, I would say like this is amazing. All of the stuff in here, right? The spec, the specularity, and the stuff that's happening. But then again, I would group more objects a bit more, and I think like Danner is super conscious about it. And you have a bunch of objects grouped in here and in here and in here, but maybe there could be like some of them that are bigger, appear bigger in the foreground, and then instead of like having a bunch of like weeds scattered around, maybe the weeds should be grouped, right? And we could create like some patterns leading us towards the character, right? But then again, what I'm trying to get at is I would propose this as an environment shot where, for example, whoops, we have to edit that out. I would do an establishing shot of the environment so we don't get to see the boat. This dude is standing over here and he's standing idle, and maybe we don't get to see this light, right? And then we get to see another shot that will be framed like so, where we get to see the dude on the boat and the guy is suddenly pointing the gun at this dude, right? But other than that, like execution-wise, this image looks amazing. And this one too, and this is like a minor note. I really like the reeds, how the shapes feel organic in here, but I would avoid like the character. It feels like it should be pointing towards somewhere there, like because our eyes will always follow where the character is looking at. So if his head, it feels like he's turned like this way, our eye will go like over here, right? So it feels like maybe his body should be turned towards like that direction, right? And then what would be the focal point? Because there's like this whole this cool hole happening in here, but what I would actually do is like make this hole this big, right? So it's really about the hole. It's really about this giant shape and the water dripping from the hole, right? So yeah, I think that's it. I'm like going super fast through to the feedback, but we are spent so long.
All right.
Right.
Boom. Is that a
wrap? All right. So yeah. So what we're gonna do next, Leo?
Yeah.
What we're gonna do next? Like we are wrapping this up, and we will want to get back to other portfolios as well with next session.
Yeah, for sure. I think we can do that, and I think this is going to be 2 hours and a half now. I think we should end it and continue pick up next. I feel like.
All right.
Yeah.
That's great.
Jamie, may I ask you to look something up?
Yeah, we haven't used. All right, so guys, thank you for tuning in and for helping out with.
Yeah, thanks, Bart, Marius.
Reviews and QnA.
No worries. Thank you. Thanks for inviting.
Now we can wave to the camera. And say,
yeah,
hey,
bye.
The lights too. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
All right. Wait. Yeah. Cool.
Rindu lukisan mata suratan hatiku nan merindu, rindu bayangan pesona meliputi parasari wajahmu. Mengapa membisu 1000 kata? Mengapa mendusta 1000 bahasa?
Mungkinkah bulan merindukan kumbang? Dapatkah kumbang mencapai rembulan?
Rindu katakan rindu, usah kau malu karena asmara. Risau engkau risau de aku pun maklum maksud tak sampai. Rindu hatimu, aku pun demikian. Rindu sudah nasib untung di badan. Kumbang, dapatkah kumbang mencapai rembulan? Rindu katakan rindu, usah kau malu karena asmara. Risau engkau risau de aku pun maklum maksud tak sampai. Rindu hatimu, aku pun demikian. Rindu sudah nasib untung di badan.